Bienvenidos al radio. Welcome, everybody. What's up? We got DFW Real Estate Weekly. We're practicing our Spanish in studio before we get this thing rolling. We have a special guest here. We'll get to that in just a minute. Listen, people, we've been talking for a long time about a closing window of Dallas-Fort Worth real estate opportunity, and we mean it. That is, take it to the bank reliable. We mean it. If you're a buyer, we believe the best window of opportunity for you to buy a home in 2024 will be before spring break. We're talking next 30 days. We're talking next 20-something days. Now, you'll be okay after that. You can certainly buy whenever you, your family, and your finances are ready. But we believe the best time to buy in DFW for 2024 is rapidly closing. The window of opportunity is rapidly closing into the first, second week of March. And I'm distracted because Full Price Courtney, producer Courtney, is currently taking a selfie with her yogurt, which is actually cottage cheese. And you can't make this stuff up, people. Truth is crazier than fiction.
Content is
Listen,
content.
she can do it all, folks. While producing a radio show, she can also eat pineapple cottage cheese, take selfies, and post about it. So that's what's happening here today. Hey, ToddTremontiTeam.com is where you go with any of your real estate questions, and you can call us right now with them at 214-310-0008. Call or text with any question you've got about buying, selling, investing in, or simply enjoying your real estate. 214-310-0008. Now, the first segment of the show is brought to you, as it always is, by Patrick Glaros and his mortgage team at Cardinal Financial. You can go to patrickglaros.com. That's Glaros, patrickglaros.com, patrickglaros.com. If you want to go ahead and apply for a mortgage, if you want to check rates and payments and taxes and figure out what your PITI payment will be and all that good stuff, patrickglaros.com, Glaros. Patrick is the only mortgage lender I have ever personally used, and that's been true for over 20 years. patrickglaros.com. Now, we got a bunch to cover this show today, but we want you to be a part of it. So if you've got questions, call or text 214-310-0008. We have a special guest in studio.
Hello.
Awkward transition because he was not the special guest. By the way, quick update, everybody. Courtney has now taken, I believe, 6 different selfies with her cottage cheese. Now, we do have the English wonder himself, the Yanni Donnie, Ian Daniels in studio. Hey, Ian, glad to have you, buddy.
Hello.
We also have Full Price Courtney, also known as the Triple C, or Selfie Courtney is a new one we're working on because she has taken 7 selfies of herself with cottage cheese so far. But the special guest, Ian, all the way from El Paso, in also the great state of Texas. I don't know if you know this, but El Paso is in a different time zone.
Did know that.
And we're talking about the one, I think the only. I mean, are there any other Eddie O'Haras out there?
There are.
Whoop, let's unmute that mic.
There are other Eddie O'Haras. And
That's why I didn't say the only, but you're the only one for me, Eddie.
Yeah.
You're the only Eddie O'Hara in my life.
I'm actually the 4th, so there's at least
in your own family.
3 before me.
Eddie Foe. All right, so Eddie is a friend.
So why are you not Eddie O'Hara the 3rd? Why do you not go by that?
You know what? Because my dad's the 3rd.
So you're the 4th. Go by the 4th.
I'm the 4th. Or
Listen.
call me Quattro.
Listen, I don't know where he lost track of things there.
That's
but
about as good as my Spanish
That's how
gets.
the 4th works.
Quattro.
So Eddie is a real estate agent, broker, ninja, and friend from El Paso, Texas. And you never know, folks. He might be in Dallas, Texas here again soon. He has been in Dallas before. He has been on staff at City Bridge Church. He's been very directly connected to our team here and maybe again in the future. But a resource and a friend. So we've got him hanging out with us in the studio today. You never know what may come of it. But we're going to take it away here and talk DFW real estate with you. If you're thinking about making a move, reach out to our team. We'll set you up with a free strategy session. Just go to ToddTremontiTeam.com. Call or text 214-310-0008. And if you haven't been to the YouTube channel for a while, if you haven't listened to the podcast in a while, caught some bonus episodes or shows that you missed, all that happens online at ToddTremontiTeam.com. You can click the radio tab. You can Google my name. You can search my name on YouTube. You can even search it on your favorite podcast app. You're going to find us all over the place.
All right, I'm going to give you two little mini phrases, and I want to know the difference between them, which one is more important for sellers and buyers, and if either of them really matter. Okay? Over asking versus overvalue.
Oh, gosh. Hold on. Let me grab my soapbox. I'm getting up on top of this bad boy. I'm going to turn the mic up because, y'all, this makes me crazy. All due respect to all other agents and brokers, and by all due respect, I mean I will give the amount of respect that is due, and for many, not much is due. If you catch my drift, here's the thing. So many agents, so many brokerages are deliberately manipulating the consumer. Many others, more others, are accidentally misleading the consumer with this silly, dare I say stupid, messaging around over asking. We sold this house for over asking. We bought this house under asking. Here's the problem, y'all. You can ask whatever you want. And most agents, sadly, aren't even choosing, deciding, leading and guiding and evaluating what should be asked. The client is just saying, this is what we want to ask out of emotion or bits and pieces of imperfect information. Now, that doesn't mean the seller shouldn't be the responsible party that chooses what they sell their home for. They should. But they should do that with good quality information and guidance and research to make a wise choice. Just because you want $1 million does not make your house worth $1 million. So when brokerages and agents communicate, we sold it over asking, that actually doesn't mean anything. That's like we sold it for more than we asked for it, as opposed to we sold it for more than it is worth, or we sold it for more than market value, which can be calculated and evaluated like an appraiser would do. A third-party professional whose job it is to value properties in comparison to other comparable properties that have sold. Now, that's an inexact science, so there's room for some discrepancy there. But this idea that people say over asking, 2% over asking, 98% of asking, it's irrelevant because people can ask whatever they want.
It's one of the conversations that I know Jeremy and John have with sellers, and a lot of our team does on the front end, because somebody will say, well, we'll ask people like, hey, do you have an idea of what your home is worth? Like, well, I need to get out of it this, or I want to get out of it this.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not the question that we're asking, right? It's like, do you know the value of your home? And then a lot of times we're going to get like, well, I want this out of it.
Well,
so
I know the
therefore it's
neighbors
worth it.
sold for this.
Yeah.
That one neighbor sold for that one number. And by the way, I would literally say more than 70% of the time, that's not what it sold for.
I know that we have not got listings sometimes when we've been on an appointment because we were not willing to go to the number that somebody wanted, because we knew that that was not the number that was going to sell for or whether it was worth.
And then they struggle.
And then we see it on the market and then it doesn't sell, or it does sell and it's come all the way down to what we initially said or below it. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, this is not about we're smarter than everybody else. This is about using the right language and being honest and having integrity of what we do. Like I said, a lot of people are using this phrasing, and they're not bad people. They're not trying to mislead you. They're doing it by accident. But it's not the right language for the consumer, right? To say to you, hey, we sold your house for more than we asked for it. That might mean we still sold it for way less than it was worth. Or we bought a house for under asking. That might still mean we paid way more than it's worth, because you can ask whatever you want.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Let's see what happens.
How come y'all don't just take the listing, listen to what they say, and then drop it later? At least you got the deal. How come y'all don't go
that is the language of the industry, which is like, hey, just get your sign in the yard, get the listing, and figure it out later. The reason we don't do that is because that's a cruddy way to do business, because that is not what's best for the consumer. And to Ian's point, we will have people that are saying, I'm happy to hire you. I would love to hire you, pay your fee, follow your leadership, but I want this number. And we would say, hey, I'm not upset with you, but we do not feel confident that even with our 7-step proprietary marketing system, which historically wildly outperforms the marketplace and other agents, we don't believe that price is realistic. Or we don't believe that timetable is realistic, or, we don't think that's the best approach. And if someone says, I want you to do it this way. We'll say, great, we understand that, but we're just not a fit. That's okay. Totally fine. People have choices. We can introduce you to someone else, or you can find someone else, and that's okay. By the way, that should be a sign of integrity and trust. But the reason is, Eddie, as you well know, that 2, 3, 4 weeks or 60, 70, 90 days that it takes for the consumer, for the seller to realize, okay, we were wrong, that's expensive. That doesn't mean now you just need to go back to the accurate pricing. You've probably lost ground on that as well, and now you need to go well below what initially was accurate pricing, because what do buyers say, Eddie, when they see a house that's been sitting on the market for a while?
What's wrong with that house?
What's wrong with that house? By the way, do most real estate agents say the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
They're like, hey, this thing's been on the market for 63 days. Well, I think we could probably get a deal on this thing. That's exactly what they say. That doesn't make them right, but that is the perception that people have. So if someone's like, well, let's just price it here and see what happens. Here's what see what happens means. Let's risk selling it for even less than the accurate valuation that a true full-time professional did to start out. There's a chart and a graph I could use to explain this, but radios doesn't do charts and graphs a lot of justice. But the point is, if you wait it out and you're stubborn with an unrealistic price, you're going to end up lower than you would have if you had priced it accurately initially. Now, what our team does at the Todd and Ian home selling team is we price typically at the accurate price or on the high end of the accurate range, and we use marketing and strategy to push it up beyond that. And oftentimes, somebody has a more accurate asking price and a great strategy to push them up. But we don't do the whole price it too low thing for sure. So anyway, all that to say, the above asking and below asking language, buy side, sell side, is just misleading because it doesn't actually tell you anything. Now, if the asking price was spot on and accurate, in that scenario, it would. It would just be more valuable and accurate to say over the market value, over the accurate market value, over comparable value, over average value. Average can be a little misleading too, but the point is the average value of similar homes that have recently sold like yours.
Yeah, in our MLS, you can actually adjust the asking price when you're already under contract. So if you want to always be over asking, you could adjust it a little lower.
Wow.
You mean agents would do that?
I've seen it. I'm like, wait a minute.
You mean an agent would almost go so far as to underprice someone's house to sell it quickly and say they sold it over asking?
No way.
You mean like some brokerages might always do that? That's wild. I can't
You
believe.
didn't hear that from me.
Hey, Eddie, do you like things that are good?
I do.
Do you like garages?
Yeah, I do.
How about floors?
Yeah, I think so. That's important.
GoodGarageFloors.com. You see what I did there?
What a read.
Huh?
What a sponsor. This guy's
Tell
got
us
a
about
gift.
it, Todd.
He's got a gift. Listen, GoodGarageFloors.com is a really cool company. And guess what they do? They do garage floors. They did my garage floor. And the truth is, I didn't know how much I would like having a really impressively coated, flaked, sealed garage floor. It just makes everything cleaner, sharper. It smells better in there. And I can't wait. We're going to have them out to do some more work at our house on like a sport court area that we have and do another garage. But if you are thinking about coating your garage floors or any other concrete surfaces in your patio, home, backyard, front yard, driveway, all that kind of stuff, reach out to goodgaragefloors.com. Chris will take really good care of you. He's kind of like a mad scientist for floor coatings. I mean, the different opportunities you have with different chemicals, different sealants, weather protection, water protection, looks, colors, coatings, flakes, all that stuff. They do it all. They do it at a fair value, and they do really, really good work, and they're good people. So goodgaragefloors.com, especially if you're thinking about coating your garage floor. goodgaragefloors.com.
If you haven't checked on your home insurance or your auto insurance recently, if you haven't shopped them around, reach out to DP, dp.lambert, Lambert, dp.lambert@goosehead.com. You can call them at 214-614-8595. You can go to toddtremoneyteam.com. You can click the radio tab, and you can find all of our recommended pros and vendors right there. And look, we've been telling you about DP for years, and he has consistently saved me money, thousands of dollars over the years.
Just have him shop your stuff. Just
have him do it. dp.lambert@goosehead.com.
DP. All right, folks, if you have real estate questions about your situation, buying, selling, investing, making wise choices with your property in 2024, we want to offer you a free strategy session. The Todd and Ian home selling team will have one of our full-time, fully dedicated professional agents sit down with you in our Fort Worth office or a Richardson office, or if need be, we can jump on a Zoom call. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to obligate yourself to anything. And we'll ask you some thought-provoking questions. And then, of course, you can ask whatever questions you have. Maybe you're thinking about buying a year from now. Maybe you're thinking about selling when the kids graduate or when you retire or when you hit a certain savings amount. That's great. We just want to be a resource to you to help you sleep better at night, knowing that you have a game plan, that you know how to get to your desired outcome with your real estate. There's no reason you should be nervously leaving that in the back of your mind, or unclear or unsure, or wanting to do something but not sure if you should, or fearing that you need to do something but hoping you don't have to. We want to have that conversation with you, and we are willing to give you our time at no cost and our expertise and our research and our data and do a little bit of homework for you so that you can sleep like a baby with a clear plan and be really excited that you are going to achieve your real estate goals. You can request a free strategy session by simply texting strategy to 214-310-0008, or you can call us and we'll schedule one right away. That's 214-310-0008, or anytime, day or night.
Todd'sYourMoneyTeam.com.
Todd'sYourMoneyTeam.com.
I'm glad you said that, because what I wanted to talk about next was the bigger idea of how one of the approaches that we have to working with clients really throughout the entire transaction, and that's of a consultative approach. That consistently, on the front end, we can do this strategy session where we can begin to think of game plans and talk about what opportunities and possibilities are. But then really throughout the course of the transaction, we're acting as consultants. People hire consultants to evaluate their businesses or their lives or whatever the area that is. We're trying to do that throughout the entire,
Process.
Yeah. And as a team, it's not just the agent that you'll be working with, but it's going to be everybody that's involved. And so just talk a little bit about how that's different, how that's not something that most people are doing because they're just kind of running and gunning by themselves, trying to just get the things done.
Yeah, Eddie, you can jump in here wherever you want. But the typical real estate agent experience, right or wrong, I'm not calling any one person or any brand out, but normally agents are thought of as kind of part-time, winging it, secondary backup career type people. It just is the way it is. There are certainly wonderful people in this career, and there are great people beyond our team. But most people think when they hire an agent that the agent is going to come do a couple things and that all agents basically do the same thing. So it's like, hey, when I'm ready, I will call you out to do some things for me, to get me on the MLS, to get a sign in the yard, to help show the property, to open some doors, to get me access to certain things. The reality is those are not the most uniquely valuable things an agent does, but that is what our industry, it's not the consumer's fault. That's what our industry has kind of trained people to think. And sadly, that is how the vast majority of real estate agents and brokers operate. We believe in that consultative approach, which is one. As a matter of fact, the industry lingo is to have a listing appointment, where the appointment is focused on getting them to list with you, which basically means put their house on the list of homes that are for sale. I just think that whole language is ridiculous. So we call ours an initial consultation on the buy side and the sell side. Most of our industry doesn't even do a buyer side consultation, which is why we have litigation and billion-dollar lawsuits with the National Association. We've been doing that for 20 plus years. The point is, we think of that as an initial consultation. The difference in a presentation and a consultation is that we're not telling you what to do. We're not just selling you on us. We're finding out if we're a fit. We're asking you lots of thought-provoking questions about what's important to you. What are your goals for yourself as an individual or your family or your professional investing goals or whatever? What's important to you? What's valuable to you? What do you want? What do you need? What do you not want? What do you not want? What do you not need? What have been bad experiences in the past? What have been good experiences? What excites you? What's uniquely motivating to you? That's the consultative approach, where we actually ask a lot of thought-provoking questions instead of showing up and feeling like we're being interviewed with 5 other agents. It's sort of a mutual interview to find out if the client's the right fit for us, if we're the right fit for them. And then once we find fit, that's how our results can be so exceptionally high. That's how we can guarantee to sell someone's home over the average price in under the average time. That's how we can average to sell people's houses for 8, 9, 10% over the market average sales price and days and weeks under the average time. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think To add to that, I would say, like you said, as you consult and get to know their needs, everyone has a different circumstance. So you have to, tailor how we're going to approach the process according to their plan. Had that recently where a guy's like, hey, just sold the house last year and I want to sell this one this year. And then he didn't even think about tax implications if he could, even do that without paying the income tax. So it was really cool to consult him and guide him and push him towards a tax preparer to see, is this the wise time? And he found out, hey, actually, if I wait a little bit, I don't have to pay income taxes. So now we get to tailor it to his timeline. So it was just cool to get to know his needs and counsel him accordingly.
Yeah. Experience tells me that the agents with the most, not just knowledge, but knowledge and then care and concern for the consumer are the most consultative.
It's being willing to slow down and not just be like, I need to get a paycheck, right? It's like, hey, of course you want to get a paycheck. We understand that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I also need to make sure that I'm doing the best thing for you, my client.
And I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
It feels purposeful and joyful. By the way, if that's the kind of person you are and that sounds attractive, we would like to hire 4 of those in the next 30 days. Just go to toddtremonti.com and click the careers tab.
Well, maybe 3 of those, depending on.
Careful. Hey, Eddie's in El Paso. He's been one of our coaching and consulting clients for years now.
Oh, yeah.
And we are publicly right now trying to recruit him to join our team because we believe he would be an incredible asset to you, our friends, our family, and our neighbors. So let him know, folks. Let him know that he needs to join the team. You can find us on our social medias by looking basically for my name on any social media. And then we'll connect with you there. I want you to check out the YouTube channel because Full Price Courtney, producer Courtney, what are we calling it? Cottage Cheese Courtney is working hard on the podcast, on educational area videos, on some really cool big backyard homes on land videos, as well as all sorts of other great stuff. So go to toddtremonti.com, click the radio tab, click the video tab, click the buyer tab, click the seller tab, click the property valuation button. There is a ton of incredible resources for you at no cost at toddtremonti.com. If you're ready to make a move, or if you just want to get your ducks in a row and sleep like a baby knowing you have a plan instead of worrying all the time or just carrying around the maybes in your head, we'll give you a free strategy session. It's a gift from me to you.
I really don't get the obsession with cottage cheese. Can I just say that? But let me just read this description to you. This is the beginning of the Wikipedia. Cottage cheese is a curdled milk product with a mild flavor and a creamy, heterogeneous, soupy texture. Doesn't exactly sound delightful.
Strong heterogeneous pronunciation. By the way, here's the deal. Cottage cheese is having its heyday, right? You know, like avocados kind of took off a lot. Man, listen, I don't know. Not my thing. It's not gross, but it's not my thing.
Fun fact, my grandpa ate cottage cheese on his eggs every day his entire life.
Okay.
That is
so
there's
there's someone
fact.
else out there.
My grandkids are going to say that.
There you have
Man,
it.
if you join the team, we can do fun facts with Eddie every week.
Whoa,
Hey, if I join the
boy,
team, y'all
could
know,
you.
y'all
All right.
know a real estate company that could, help me buy a house here in Dallas?
Listen, the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team would love to offer you a free strategy session, and all you've got to do is call or text 214-310-0008. But Eddie, you just listen to this, buddy.
Find out what your home would sell for right now in under a minute at toddtremontiteam.com.
One more.
Google Todd Tremonti and check out over 700 5-star reviews.
Welcome to the show, folks. Thrilled to have you back with us. Thanks for hanging through the break. We got all kinds of things to talk about, specifically DFW real estate, buying, selling, and enjoying your home. The springtime is, in fact, on the way. I know that it hasn't felt like that. Well, actually, with all the rain lately, it sort of has felt that way, but it was a little cold. But as you prepare for the springtime, this is one of the times that people tend to enjoy their homes the most. So as the weather approaches, let's have the conversation, of course, about buying and selling, but also about enjoying what we've already got. We'll get into it today. If you've got questions, call or text 214-310-0008, 214-310-0008. I'm going to reiterate one more time that if you're buying this year, I would strongly advise that you buy before spring break. If you're selling this year, I would want to be selling before back to school, which means by the end of July. There you have it. I've said it again. I'll say it a few more times, and then we'll be out of time.
Hey, this first segment, as always, is brought to you by Patrick Leros and his entire team at Cardinal Financial. If you are looking to get a mortgage, if you are looking to refinance, if you just have questions about what the heck is going on with interest rates, reach out to Patrick. Go to patrickgaleros.com. You can actually start an application right there on his website, patrickgaleros.com, Glaros, patrickgaleros.com. You can call him at 972-728-3420, NMLS number 308804.
All right, listen, we got all kinds of things to get into. What would you like to do first, team? Listen, we got 5C in studio. We got Cottage Cheese, Courtney Clark Cleveland, 5C in studio, the Yanni Donnie. We got the whole crew, and we still have the man from El Paso himself, Eddie O'Hara.
I want to get into wealth building and wealth protection. That's what I want to get into.
Listen, I might like this topic too much, so I'm going to let you lead. You slow me down when I get going because I could talk about this all day long.
Let's talk about wealth building first, and then let's talk about like just different opportunities people have specific to real estate, why it's important. Let's talk about some of the things that people can do to protect themselves once they're doing that. Really any direction we can go with it. But
well, here's the thing. When people start buying and selling houses, somehow they lose their objectivity. They lose their full perspective of thought, and they get really fixated on, we would love to live here. We don't want to live here anymore. We would like to go to school over there. We would like to live near that. We'd like to be closer to work or whatever. And I think people really, really, really need to slow down before they speed up. You hear me say that all the time. Mm-hmm. The initial consultation, the strategy session, slow down before you speed up. And a lot of that slowing down needs to be to think about and factor in with wise counsel and leadership. What are the wealth building or wealth protection aspects of buying or selling a home? You were just talking in the last segment, Eddie, about the tax implications of buying or selling a home. And when people don't think about that, they might find themselves paying income taxes on the gains from selling a home. I mean, obviously don't tell too much, but what would the implications have been on that one you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, because he had sold the house about a year prior, and he had already taken advantage of I think it's every 2 years. I'm not a tax professional. I always advise people to talk with a tax preparer. But if he went and sold his house, he would not have set aside his money for his income tax implications.
So real quick, your homestead tax exemption, if you live in a home as your primary residence for at least 2 of the last 5 years, when you go to sell that house as a single individual, you can earn up to $250,000 of profit, or what we would call gains, tax-free. As a married couple, you can earn up to $500,000 of profit or gains tax-free. If you sell before the 2-year mark, you lose all of that. Right. And you pay income, you pay gain. Well, depends on short-term or long-term, but you're going to pay income tax of some sort on that gains, the profit, that income. But if someone would advise you and be like, whoa, we're only a few months out or whatever from not having to pay that. Or maybe we can exchange those gains into another property. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Absolutely. But those would be wealth building thoughts as opposed to short term, just I want this house. I don't want this one anymore. I want to live there. I don't want to live there, where you might really give up a lot of wealth building benefit.
Right. Especially when you're only a few months away. It's like, man, we wait a few months. That could save you some serious money.
Yeah, and we try to help our clients on the front end understand that. I wrote a book years ago called it's actually called Live Free, The Art of the 2-Year Flip. You can get it on Amazon for like $9 right now. We're actually updating it. We're probably going to republish or whatever you call it, an updated version this year. But the point is it walks you through how to do that strategically. If you're at a life stage or in a situation where you don't mind moving every 2 or 3 or 4 years, you could buy a home specifically for this 2-year flip strategy, this wealth building opportunity with real estate, buy it, remodel it, live in a remodeled home, sell it 2 years later, 2 or more years later, pay zero taxes on those gains. By the way, I don't know any other place that you can pick up really big profit income and pay no taxes on it. None, legally, easily, without a bunch of maneuvering. And then do it again every 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And you have to live somewhere.
You got to live somewhere anyway. And that's big time. Let's just say you made $50,000 on a flip without having to pay taxes on it. That might be the equivalent of 70 or 80. And we've had clients make 200 and 300. Therefore, the equivalent of 400 or 450 factoring in the tax benefits. How do you do that every 2 or 3 years with something else? It's crazy.
I don't think you can.
So the point of wealth building and wealth protection is simply to say, when you're buying or selling a home, even if it's quote unquote just your home, and you're not thinking of it as an investment, you can still factor in the wealth building and wealth protection implications. Now, I texted Patrick Glaris about some mortgage stuff a minute ago, so when you get a second, we'll inject that here.
Hey, Todd, have you ever done the to your house flip yourself?
Yeah, so I wrote the book after our second time of doing it, and I'm like, wait, why don't more people do this? We did 3 of them pretty true to the book. The third one was like a 6-year deal because life stage, babies, kids caught up to us, and then where we are now, we don't have a plan to go anywhere. But different life stage. I mean, typically you would logically, no pressure, but you would logically think kind of young and single, young and married, or empty nester would be those phases of life where you're like, I don't care if I move every 2 or 3 years. That might be fun. I can try some new things out. It's worth it. When you're in that middle stage, whether it's career or children or life or comfort or whatever, you may not want to move as much or do the remodels. But if you do, you can do that.
Yeah.
There's no rules here. Yeah. The only rules we're talking about are the tax rules.
RepublicTitle.com is where you can go to find out all the information about Republic Title, one of the leaders in the title industry. Look, I've told you for years and years and years now, a bad title company is destructive to a transaction. It can be really, really bad. Reach out to Republic Title, find out all the information you can about them. RepublicTitle.com, 972-423-8777. Go to ToddTremontiTeam.com, click the radio tab, and you can find all of the recommended pros and vendors right there, including
Patrick Glaris.
Patrick Glaris.
I was just going to mess with you because I text Patrick while you were doing a live read earlier. I texted him. I literally just said, what is the rate for a great borrower right now? So obviously I'm assuming good credit and income and all that stuff. And he basically said 6.5 to 6.625 is doable if you're willing to do a little, like a half point discount point maybe. So mid to upper 6s, and you can, with a small investment, get that down to mid 6s, 6.5, 6.65. That's common for a good borrower right now. Now, you could buy it down lower or not. But the point that Ian and I were talking about earlier is some people were nearing 8, 7.75 or so. So you're a full point down. You could get yourself more than a full point down with a little bit of an upfront investment, but you don't have to do that. That's part of the reason we believe this window of opportunity for buyers is right in front of us and is probably going to start to close. It's already starting to close, but will start to close significantly once spring break hits. And the reason for that is spring break starts to kind of trigger that stereotypical spring summer market where more people will come in, prices will go up, competition will go up, offers will go up. And we are afraid there won't be enough new inventory, that it will be tighter and even more competitive, and values will go way up, competition will go up. And even if rates came down a little bit, financially people will not benefit.
So would you say it's wise right now? What if you're a seller to put your house on the market during this time?
So the answer for sellers is, I think now's a great time, but I don't think you're going to lose your great selling opportunity noticeably until like midsummer, and I think definitely by late summer. And the reason for that is I think you always want to sell when buyers are most optimistic. Now, I could find exceptions. Buyers are really optimistic when there's like foreclosures everywhere and 50 options. So that's not necessarily true. But what I mean is buyer optimism, buyer excitement, buyer competition, lots of buyers in the market. That's a good time to sell. So you can wait beyond spring break as a seller, but that's why buyers shouldn't wait beyond spring break, because it's going to get a little better for sellers when there's tons of competition, especially if rates come down, those values go up. Now, I wouldn't necessarily wait for that as a seller, but if you did, you'll be fine. But after back to school here locally in DFW, that's the one time in the year we get a 1 to 2 week kind of pause in our market. It's super hot. People are distracted. And the market just kind of goes flat. It doesn't die. There's some real opportunity to buy in a normal market. But this year, that's going to be creeping right into the presidential election cycle where there's just a lot of chaos and mixed messages, and who knows what's going to happen economically. So those are our tips for this year.
Eddie, I've got a special game that we're going to play with you.
All right.
Like to play it when we have guests come into the studio. This is called Cockney Rhyming Slang Word of the Week. You ready? Excited?
Right, ready or not?
Are you excited?
Everybody's so excited.
You're excited.
Everybody's
Todd,
really...
are you excited?
Are you going to go over the rules with me?
Do you know what Cockney Rhyming Slang is?
No, I do
Okay,
not.
I'm going to say a couple of words, and it's going to mean something completely different, but it's going to rhyme with what the word is.
Sometimes.
Okay. Example, apple and pears, stairs. Okay? Dog and bone, phone.
Okay, time out. It doesn't always rhyme. Those examples rhymed. It doesn't always rhyme, and it rarely ever makes any sense. But we occasionally get them right. It's insane.
Gotcha. So what do I need to do?
Well, I'm going to say
He's going to say a random word, and you're going to think, what does that rhyme with? What does that stand for? Mm-hmm. So if he said apple and pears, no one on earth would guess stairs. But if you did guess stairs, you'd be right.
All right.
Yeah, making sense?
I'll channel my inner Eminem somehow.
Almost never making sense. But here we go.
All right, here we go. I don't think we've done this one before.
Oh, gosh.
Army and Navy.
Gravy. No, there's no gravy in England.
It is gravy.
What did you? It's gravy. Yeah.
I'll high five you, Todd.
All right, I'm going to give you one more, and this one's just going to be for Eddie. We're going to start off with one for Eddie.
The problem is when we get it right, he thinks they make sense, and it keeps him going.
Does make
so
sense.
we should stop. What is gravy on in England?
Oh, Sunday lunch.
Like brown gravy?
Brown gravy, yeah.
Okay.
Huh. We don't have any of that.
No cream gravy. None of the glory. None of the biscuits and
So
gravy.
I just have to rhyme the word. Just find a rhyme.
All right, hold on. Muting other microphones.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. You ready, Eddie?
Nope, but here we are.
Light and dark.
Park.
First time!
Did I
You get the game!
I knew.
No way.
Listening to some
Park?
shady all those years.
Hold on.
Would come in handy one day.
We do not have time for this, but listen, no one has ever used that in a sentence.
Yeah.
Heading down to the light and dark.
Referring to the London County Council has noticed the effect that a bell was rung and the gates locked at dusk.
You never said light and dark.
Oh, I'm just explaining to you where it came from.
Dear Lord. Hold on.
Would I win?
In your life, have you ever heard someone
Knuckles.
say the game will be over at the light and dark?
Well, I'm not from London. So we didn't say it because I'm not
But I mean,
from
you've
London.
heard people use these things, right?
I'm just telling you what I'm reading, Todd.
Oh my
Don't question the
gosh.
game. All right, you want to play another game? I got
Yeah,
another game.
listen, we're
I want to go out on glory.
We're like social media influencers, and we have a stack of fake money on our desk as a joke from a casino night. And
wow.
Courtney just handed Eddie a $100 bill, and he was real fired up about how cool this game is. But now he's back to where we are, really questioning the game. Are we going to do another one? Do it fast.
No, I've got a different game.
Okay.
This game is the game that we introduced last week called Stump Todd, where I say a word and you try and
Now
get
this-
the word to make sense.
This game, just to be clear, Eddie, so you caught that. They literally just throw out a random word, and then my goal/job is to make that word not only make sense, but give some sort of valuable suggestion, tip, encouragement with it.
Last week I was a little unfair and I said a word that he didn't know. He
What was
hadn't
it?
heard
What
of
was it again?
Collywobbles.
Collywobble, which is like uncomfortable in your belly, and we turn that into pursue scenarios where you have the collywobble because that discomfort leads to growth and impact. I actually like that one.
Is this
think
spelling
you-
bee rules? Can I ask for like origin and all that?
No.
All right.
No,
All right.
we're not that organized. Okay, I think you will know what this one means, okay?
We'll see.
I'm 99% sure.
Me too.
Poppycock.
That's like garbage, right? Like that's just poppycock.
Yeah.
That's ridiculousness.
Yeah.
We're rubbish.
Okay, I got one. Here we go. All right, so beware of the poppycock, okay? Because many, many, many of the headlines and so-called commentators, talking heads in your world are filled with and incentivized to bring you the poppycock, all right? So you got a bunch of people just speaking straight rubbish and garbage because that's what gets attention and eyeballs. And I'll parallel this to telling my son to watch less YouTube, and I don't like it when he watches the strolling YouTube because most of the content targeted towards kids right now is just sheer like red line. And what I mean by that is it's all, whoa, let's go. It's all just red line rage, excitement. There's no like character development or sensible conversational development and learning. So that is also true for news stations. And I'm not anti-news. I'm just saying most of the people that our world is putting in front of us to lead us, guide us, help us think, help us understand and learn are full of poppycock. It's just about eyeballs. It's just about access. It is not about care and concern for you, leadership and guidance for you, advocacy for you. So please, please, please be aware of where the influence in your life comes from and have your filter for the poppycock up and locked and loaded.
Todd, that was deep, brother.
Listen.
We're playing a game here. You went too deep for me.
All right, I'm going to lock in. All right, collywobble
Collywobbles.
and collywobbles and poppycock. I'm locking them. I'm using those henceforth.
This obviously doesn't apply to us because everybody loves us, right?
Oh gosh.
But why can people they cannot stand realtors? What's the deal?
Oh, hold on. Soapbox. Climbing up. Realtors have earned that. That is not wrong. The fact that the bulk of the populace and the consumer base thinks realtors are overpaid and underdeliver, full of bull,
poppycock,
goofballs, is right. Most realtors are those things. Again, I'm not naming names. I'm not naming a brokerage. This isn't about any one person, but on the average, people in real estate are part-time. That doesn't make them bad people. It's a backup career. It's a fallback. It's a summer gig. It's an evening gig, whatever the case is. But if you want to be respected like an attorney or a CPA or something like that, then act like one. Be dedicated, learn, grow, work hard, make an investment of time, energy, focus, commitment, risk failure. Be committed to a career where people could trust you and you could earn trust through your guidance and advocacy for people. But the reality is most people don't like agents because they've had bad experiences with agents, because their agent was not an expert, because the agent wanted the commission more than they were willing to commit to offering a tremendous amount of value and advocacy and protection. Let me be clear. There are a lot of wonderful people who do become real estate agents because they do want to help their friends and family and neighbors. But that's not enough. Wanting to doesn't mean you do, or doesn't mean you can, and it certainly doesn't mean you are. There are a whole bunch of other people that got into real estate because they thought it was easy money. Unfortunately, the barrier to entry is very low, and the barrier to true success is very, very high.
So you're saying I shouldn't just hire my family member that just got their license?
Yeah,
just
cousin Ricky that got his license out of a Cracker Jack box in 48 hours overnight or whatever is not. That doesn't mean he's not brilliant, but it is a very low likelihood that he's going to be the best person to represent you in your $700,000 transaction or whatever the math is. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use your family or your friends, but you should, like you would in any other really important scenario, determine whether they are really good at their job, whether they have a track record of success, if they have the right resources or people around them, or they back up their offering well and have proven that. What other past clients think about them and things like that. So the reason people don't like agents is because agents have not earned their trust.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Like, I'll be honest here. When I first got my license, like you said, the bar was literally on the floor and super easy, and didn't really know what I was doing. But yet people were trusting me, and without really interviewing
and you
me.
were well-intentioned and a high-integrity guy.
Oh, yeah, I love serving people, right?
Yeah.
Jason literally said to us at a team training that we did recently, Jason joined us, recently got his license, been going through our training program, literally said to us, like, man, I came into this with, like my eyes were shut, basically. Like, I didn't expect there to be so much work that goes into being really good at this. Yeah. And it was kind of overwhelming.
Because the television version says we all just go to cocktail parties and sell houses.
Yeah.
Right? And the neighborhood agent friend, is shaking hands and playing tennis and going to schools and coaching sports and selling houses. Realistically, people don't understand on the back end, that person, last year, I can't remember the statistic, maybe one of y'all can look it up, but it was like 80+% of real estate agents nationally in 2023 sold one house or zero houses. And the consumer doesn't know that. And so I'm not trying to burden buyers and sellers with all of this, but you should be burdened to make sure that the person or the team that you're working with can do what you need them to do and isn't just well-intentioned and a nice person. They need to have the tools and resources. Speaking of tools and resources, when it comes to your roof, I trust PMR Roofing. They just put a whole new roof on a property for me, and they did an incredible job. They were so fast, and they did things that, honestly, until then, I didn't even know that roofers did. PMRroofing.com. Ask for Jordan Collins. If you've had any hail, heavy wind, we've all had lots of freezing and rain, you need to know that your roof is in good condition. So if you haven't had your roof checked out, if you hadn't had anybody up there in the last 2 years, go to PMRroofing.com. And of course, if you think you might have any damage or storm damage, always call them first before you get into an insurance situation. PMRroofing.com. Ask for Jordan Collins. They'll take great care of you there.
Hey, why don't you tell the folks again about Good Garage Floors?
Listen, goodgaragefloors.com is one of my favorites lately because they just did an incredible job with my garage floor. So if you're thinking about having your garage floor coated, sealed, colored, flaked, whatever you want to call it, That's what they do, and they do it incredibly. GoodGarageFloors.com. Ask for Chris. Tell them Todd Tremonti sent you. They also do all sorts of other concrete coatings, whether it's pool decks, sport courts, driveways. They do commercial installation stuff as well. But the wheelhouse, the bread and butter, is those garage floors. So if you're working in the garage, if your garage has weird smells or cracks that you're wanting to seal, or you just want a really good, clean look in there, GoodGarageFloors.com. Tell them Todd Tremonti sent you. They'll take great care. If you are thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate in 2024 and we have not talked yet, here's the deal. You cannot start that conversation too early. But sadly, realistically, most people wait too late. And when you wait too late to start the conversation about buying, selling, or investing, doesn't mean you can't pull it off. It just means you lose out on options. You have fewer choices, fewer options, and you end up not even knowing, or sadly maybe knowing, what you missed out on. So start the conversation now. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate at any point in the future, call 214-310-0008 or just text 214-310-0008, or anytime you can go online too.
ToddTremontiTeam.com.
And just let us know how we can help you. You can search every house by every agent in all of DFW. You can find out your home buyer readiness score, your home seller readiness score. You can find out what your home would sell for. You can find out your home equity and track it every month. And there's a ton of other really valuable resources all online at ToddTremontiTeam.com. Now, Eddie from El Paso.
Yes, sir.
You want to join us? You want to join the team on Dallas? You want to help some people buy and sell houses?
You know what?
Oh, is this the announcement?
Oh, man.
This is live. I don't know. We're putting him on the spot. He might dodge the question.
I mean, I'm leaning that way.
Sounds like a solid maybe.
I'll say that. A solid maybe.
He's solid maybe. He's leaning that way, folks. Hey, ToddTremontiTeam.com. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, we would love to gift you 30 to 90 minutes of our time for a free strategy session with no obligation. Don't lose sleep. Don't bring this up and have a 5-minute conversation every week. Let's talk for 30 to 90 minutes, and we can help you find true clarity. Sleep like a baby, knowing what you want to do with your real estate moving forward.
Google Todd Tremonti and check out over 700 5-star reviews.